J right in your face.
Let go.
Welcome back to the Faedaway podcast, episode number 5. I'm your host, Faedaway, and I got my boy Zaid with me. But before I go to Zaid, I want to say happy MLK Day today. It's MLK Day around the NBA. There's been basketball all day long, so happy MLK Day. Zaid, how you doing, bro?
Good, man. How are you?
Man, I'm hanging in there. You know, the Raptors are turning it around. Things are starting to look better. A lot of big things happened around the league in the last week. Like, every day now, it seems, you know, your mind's blown even more. So I'm excited to be here and talk about it. But, you ever in the summertime go to the beach and realize, man, my drinks are mad warm right now? Like, have you ever had one of those?
It happens to me all the time.
Yeah, and it happens to me all the time, too. So, if you guys don't know, this episode is brought to you by Yeti. Okay? Yeti, you can buy coolers, swell bottles, and everything in between. So just click the link in our bio, go there, and support the fam.
Speaking about coolers, you know what's also cool? SkullCandy headphones. This episode is actually also brought to you by SkullCandy. You can buy headphones in ear. You can connect them to your cooler. Who knows what you want to do with it? You can make it happen. Go click the link in our bio and buy some SkullCandy headphones today.
Our ad game is unparalleled. Okay, so back to basketball. A lot of crazy things happened, and we were actually fortunate enough to join the Falco Takeaway last week to talk about a little bit about the James Harden trade. But we felt we didn't get a chance to really dive into it, man, because this is such a huge trade. The impact of the trade on several teams involved, on the whole league as a big picture kind of thing, and guys like Kyrie Irving, James Harden, KD. So let's tackle him, man. You wanna break down the details of this trade and what transpired last week?
So yeah, four-team trade between the Nets, the Pacers, the Cavs, and the Houston Rockets. So the Nets received basically just James Harden, and that alone in itself is a big piece for them. But they did offload a lot of key pieces, which is kind of could be their Achilles heel, but it could also be something that's replaceable. The Rockets received Victor Oladipo from the Indiana Pacers, which is a huge deal for the Rockets. We'll get into all the details and you know how long the contracts are and everything is later on. But the Rockets also received Dante Exum, Kurucs from the Brooklyn Nets, 3 Brooklyn first-round picks, unprotected, 1 Milwaukee first-round pick, and 4 Brooklyn first-round pick swaps.
Unprotected as
yes. And these picks last up until, basically altogether, up until 2027. So the Brooklyn Nets don't have a pick until 2027, I believe it is. And then the Pacers received Karis LeVert. This was a huge piece for the Nets bench. Although he was coming off the bench, he was playing starter minutes and giving them starter production. And the Pacers also received a second-round pick from Houston in 2023. Finally, the Cavs. The Cavs received Jared Allen and Taurean Prince, 2 key guys from the Nets. So a lot of moving parts to this trade, a lot of moving pieces. We did talk on the Falco Takeaway a little bit about who won, who lost the trade. So let's just start, with your thoughts on the trade as a whole and what teams you think really benefited the most from this trade.
Right, and I'll have to be honest because my thoughts my thoughts on the Falco Takeaway and my thoughts now are going to be very different. I'll tell you why. I talked about the Pacers winning that trade because they picked up Karis LeVert. And Karis LeVert, like everybody knows what he can do.
Yeah.
And he's proven what he can do in a starter role, off the bench role. It doesn't matter. Karis LeVert is a bucket and he can produce. Unfortunately, on the weekend, they found, I believe it was a mass. I don't know what it's called.
Mass, you're right. That's
a mass in his kidney. So that I hope, prayers up to him and his family. I hope he can recover from that quick and come back because that's a big hit to him. And just from a career standpoint, what the opportunity that's coming to him after, the grinding that he's had to put in, and for him to finally get that opportunity and then for this to happen, it's really sad. So hopefully he can find his way out of this. So obviously that changes my view a little bit because if they don't have Karis at their disposal, then they're just the same team.
They traded for nobody. They
pretty much got rid of Victor Oladipo, right? And we should give them their flowers because they did release a statement saying they were aware of the injury or the condition, and they picked him up because he's a great person and they support him. So that's very good on the Indiana side.
Yeah.
But I mean, at that point, it just leaves me only to look at Brooklyn. But it doesn't. I don't necessarily think Brooklyn won, quote unquote, because yes, they did get James Harden, but man, they gave up everybody. They gave up everyone and their mothers. They gave up all their draft picks for the next almost decade, not decade, but for the next
5 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
And look, James Harden is a great player. He's not proven in the playoffs.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Kyrie Irving is a great player. He is statistically injured. Not statistically, because that doesn't even make sense, but every season he's injured. Every season he misses X amount of games. A lot of times those happen to be the playoffs. Okay? A lot of times he misses the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So he's unproven. KD is about the only guy on that roster right now that I think is reliable come playoff time. James Harden has proven time and time again that he is not reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Kyrie, is he on the team? Is he coming back?
Mm-hmm.
When he comes back, is he here to stay?
Yeah.
Is he going to get along with Harden? Like, there are so many questions that you can ask about Kyrie, which kind of shows, how much of a problem he actually is, in my opinion, because it's not just on-court problems, it's off-court problems. Like, are you going to show up? Are you going to be happy?
Yeah.
And for the people saying, well, trade Kyrie, pick up a bunch of role players because you can. Well, I mean, in a perfect world, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
If you can tell me right now, I can get 3 or 4 role players, put them around James and KD.
Easy money.
They won that trade 100%.
Yeah.
But Kyrie Irving doesn't really command much of a market right now. Who's going to give up any key or good pieces for Kyrie? He's signed on to Brooklyn as a free agent. That means he chose himself to be there. Mm. And he's still unhappy, and he's still not showing up.
Mm.
So, I mean, there's so many unknowns, and one of the biggest things for me, like, I didn't really get to talk about this on the Falco takeaway at all, but, man, their defense is abysmal. So, I did the courtesy of going back till 2012 to find every team's defense that won, every championship team defense that won.
Yeah.
So, 2012, the Heat, 9th in the league. 2013, the Spurs, 3rd in the league. 2014, the Warriors, 1st in the league. 2015, the Cavs, 10th in the league. Warriors after that, 2016, 2nd in the league. 2017, who is this? Warriors again, 11th in the league. But they were the 3rd offense in the league. These. 2019, Raptors, 3rd in the league. 2020, Lakers, 13th in the league. But
so
these arguments don't apply to LeBron.
That's an asterisk on LeBron.
They don't apply to LeBron because LeBron transcends stats.
So what do you think? Top 10 defense in the league? Top 7? You needed to win?
The Brooklyn Nets, as it stands right now...
abysmal. I know that.
They are... Sorry. No. My fault. The Lakers... Yes, that's true. Actually, no. I am wrong. This is not the Lakers. This is the Nets. Yeah, the Nets are the 13th ranked defense right now in the league.
That's amazing.
That's before when they had Jared Allen.
Okay, that's
and they had Taurean Prince.
That's okay.
What do you mean it's okay?
It's so negative.
They gave away their best defensive players. They're 13th with them.
That's okay.
They're trash. They couldn't even... Let's put it this way. KD put up 42 points. James Harden put up a 32-point triple-double.
Yeah.
And they won by 7 to the Magic.
Okay, that's okay.
That's not okay.
There's nothing...
That's absolutely not okay.
We don't know what we're going to see from this team until all your questions are answered.
Playoff time is time to buckle down and get serious. Outside of the 3 guys, they have nobody that's proven. Joe Harris is not a proven basketball player. He's a nice player, but he's not proven.
But you don't have to have proven guys right away.
You can't entrust
a 2-3 year project. If they traded away all these guys, all these picks, and they win 1 ring, everything they did until 2027 is worth it. That team has never won a championship ever in its history. So whatever they do now, it's to win a championship, regardless of what happens. Do I think they're going to go to the finals? I think they can go to the finals. I don't think there's a team in the East that can match up against those top 3 guys. If we're talking about the Nets are going to have those top 3 guys, it's too many offensive weapons, too many offensive options for them to match. Do they have defensive issues that they have to fill in and worry about? Absolutely. They're 13th in defense right now, and when we look at them and watch them play, we're like, wow, they're way worse than 13th. They look a lot worse than 13th.
Yeah, because they gave up everyone that played defense.
Okay, so they've got a lot of room.
Next week they're going to be 20th in the league.
We'll see how next week goes, but even if they got 2 or 3 years to work on their defense, 2 or 3 years to pick up guys that they can contribute to work on, they do.
My man, they're free agents at the end of next year.
Yeah, that's a player option.
Yeah,
you can opt. You think they're not going to opt in for $43 million for $35 million?
Well, I mean,
James
if
Harden's
KD's
on
coming
40
off
million.
like 2 MVP seasons,
Who?
KD, he could sign a 4-year deal. And for a guy who injured his Achilles, I think they'll still want to win. Pretty appealing.
If Kyrie can convince KD to go to the Nets, I think Kyrie can convince him to stay.
Kyrie and KD don't have a relationship anymore, bro.
No, they do. They're
distant.
They ride.
It's
ride.
It's reported that they're distant.
It's reported. Listen, at the end of the day, the team that wins this trade is the Nets because they got the 3 best players. They got the best player in this trade overall, and now they have the best 3 players on one team in the league. And it's tough to beat superstars. It comes down to superstars in the playoffs. James Harden hasn't been able to perform in the playoffs in the past, and trust me, I've been the first one to roast him when he hasn't performed in the past. But he's got KD now. Like, he's got a guy that he doesn't have to.
He had a fantastic team.
He doesn't have to carry the whole load. KD's unguardable.
Bro, he didn't have to carry the whole load when they had Chris Paul and they were almost there.
But Chris Paul went out too. He got down. He got injured too. He had to carry the full load. He can't carry the full load. And then James Harden recognized that, and that's why he's down to go to the Nets. If Kyrie can buy into this team, that's the biggest question. If Kyrie can buy into this team and actually want to play for them, one day he's in on Steve Nash, one day he's out. One day he wants to fight political issues. By all means, bro, go do it. Like, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. But you sign a contract. It's either you pick to go to your job and fight those issues at the same time, or just fight those issues, without playing basketball. That's fine. I think this team has a lot of potential. This team is finals bound if they make the right decisions. Right decisions on people who are going to surround them. They can pick up guys on veteran minimum contracts that are going to be useful, and then coaching. As long as they put defensive schemes into play that's going to improve their defense, they're gonna be a finals bound team. No team is going to be able to guard that much star power. Giannis and the Bucks. Giannis is not reliable.
They
in the playoffs
have one
either.
center on the team.
They gotta fill in some holes. There's no doubt, bro.
What money do they have to fill holes in? They're already in the luxury tax.
You can get key guys. You can make more trades.
We couldn't get a key guy in free agency. We have to settle for Aaron Baines and Alex Len.
Talk to Masai about that, bro. Don't talk to me about it.
Talk to Masai. Look at the market. Who is better? Who's more available?
If you can swindle deals, you can make deals happen. You can make this. You have Andre
Drummond.
Drummond.
Big ifs.
Everything's a big if.
Andre Drummond makes $30 million.
Yeah, he's on expiring contract. Move Kyrie, lovely.
Okay,
expiring
we
contract.
Said we can't move Kyrie.
You can. Listen. Anything is possible. Anything can happen. Tell me of a team that can beat this roster in the East.
I told you.
In a 7-game series.
Philadephia.
That's a
as constructed
answer.
right now, as coached right now.
That's a poorly brought up answer because
why?
Because
they're a different team than last year.
You banked on Tobias Harris who had a star season.
Milwaukee Bucks with Drew Holiday. Milwaukee Bucks.
That's not even enough.
Why is that not enough?
Giannis doesn't show up in the playoffs. Giannis
he does show up. He's just not.
He can't close games.
That's fine. You have Drew Holiday. He can close games.
He can't beat team defense because he gets shut down very easily. A lot of people just build up the wall and they've been able to shut him down. This team you can't shut down. They have defensive issues. They make small tweaks on the defensive end. They're already outscoring teams.
I think defensively the Miami Heat can shut them down.
I don't think so. They don't have the personnel to do that. They don't have enough.
Absolutely. They don't have made the finals last year.
Yeah.
They have the personnel to make the finals.
Yeah, but they didn't beat a three-man Hall of Fame team. They didn't beat any team like that. There was no team like that in their way. They beat Giannis and the Bucks. Bucks got bouncing early, bro. Giannis has shown that he can't last in the playoffs. He's not that good. He's not that end of game kind of guy. They've deferred to Chris Middleton to be that end of game kind of guy now because he can shoot jump shots. Giannis can't. Giannis can't close games. In a 7-game series,
what about Boston with 2 wing guys averaging 28 points a game?
Boston might be the only team that can put up a fight. I don't think they're enough. I don't think
that's four teams.
I'm gonna lean on veteran leadership and veteran play over the young guys like Jason and they're veterans low key, but these guys are too good.
I'm not saying that the Pacers can beat them, but man, you talk about Sabonis and Turner, and you don't have a center on your roster, you're gonna have problems. I think you're also underrating how good of a defender that KD is. He's a great defender, and absolutely, but he can't be the only guy. He can't be a 40-point per night guy and an elite defender. But he doesn't have to be a
40-point per night guy if they have all 3 of them playing.
He does though, because
he doesn't.
Who's going to score for them?
Joe Harris.
Joe Harris is not going to score on a nightly basis.
And I have him on fantasy. He's averaging 15 a game.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Everything post Harden, man, is different. You can't entrust a shooter
to
not be involved in the game, and then every chance he gets to shoot, he makes it. They need rhythm. They need reps.
But who do you think is going to have wide open shots out of KD, Kyrie, James Harden, and Joe Harris? Who do you think is going to get the most benefit out of those open shots?
He's going to be open. I don't know if he's going to get the ball, though.
He's going to get the ball.
And after that, Landry Shamit's not proven. Jeff Green's old. DeAndre Jordan is not good.
They have guys
TLC's not proven. He's a second-year player.
Everyone's not proven. Okay, so all the guys you mentioned are not proven either. So how can you Giannis, the Bucks?
Giannis is an MVP player, man. I'm talking
about in the playoffs, though.
I'm talking about Landry Shamit.
Yeah,
Timothy Luau Cabarro.
Their roles are much smaller than a guy like Giannis that you're banking on being the guy to take the Bucks over the edge over this team.
I don't think Brooklyn's got it. Like, I'm not saying that they're not going to make the finals. They definitely could make the finals. But for people to tell me like, oh, it's shoo-in, they're going to make the finals 100%.
I think they have the highest chance.
I disagree, man.
They have the highest chance of all the teams in the East.
They're going to come across, like I listed 4 teams that if they're not going to beat them, it's not going to be a cakewalk. If you come across any of the teams I listed, you're going to struggle. Even if you win 4-2, it's going to be a dogfight. Dogfights of series need your team to be on the same page. You need to all be together, and this team is not that.
Yeah, it's been one game.
It's been all season.
It's been one game.
What do you mean, man?
With a new team. With the new team.
Okay. Kyrie's a key player that's not bought in.
Okay.
So as it stands, they're not on the same page.
Okay. That's it. But
okay.
they overhauled the whole bunch of guys who are gone now.
Because if they don't trade him and he doesn't show up, and it's just these 2 guys and nobody else, they're not enough.
They're going to have to fill it. But then if Kyrie doesn't show up, his contract is voided. They've got a lot of money they can use.
I don't know about the intricacies.
No. You can't say you don't know about the intricacies. When you count out Kyrie.
I'm saying I don't know like the contract stuff.
But if you count out Kyrie, you count out his money. If he's not going to show up, you count out his money.
Is that a fact? I don't know. I didn't search it up.
He voids his contract. He voids his contract.
Sure. Let's assume
that's a lot of money you can put.
Then they have money. Who's available?
Somebody. You can get people. I'm sure
they have no assets. They have no draft picks to trade.
If you can trade somebody for a photocopier, you can trade somebody for money.
But man, they don't have draft picks and they don't have pieces.
It has to be money and some other mid development pieces. I don't know who it could be.
Right now, as constructed, it's very contingent on Kyrie, KD, and James Harden. If they're not all 3 there, it's not happening.
If they're all 3 there,
then it's going to be freaking exciting.
And
they're going to probably make the finals.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's not guaranteed.
I would say I'm not going to say it's on all 3. It's on Kyrie. Those 2 guys, KD and James Harden, they want to be together. They want to win. They want to play. We know that. We've seen that. Kyrie's the biggest dude, and that's a big question mark on him. But out of all the 4 teams, like the 4 teams got better, but they didn't get better for the future either. Like Karis LeVert, unfortunate, he signed until 2023. So you know what? Even if he sits out this year, the Pacers still got better in the next 2 years. Houston, they lose Oladipo after this year. So they didn't really get much better. They got better by losing
picks, man.
Tons of picks, but they got better by losing James Harden primarily.
And think about because these guys, even if they take their contracts, their options after 2023, they're not there. And once the team loses those 2 guys, as constructed like this, you lose those 2 guys.
But in the next 2 years, they can make a run out of championship. And if they win one, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it if they win one. That's all you need.
Let's also look back at let's look at the 2012 Heat, right? They won the chip in 2012. Yeah, they had the big 3 that were great, but they have guys like Ray Allen, Shane Battier, Birdman. Like these are Mario Chalmers even played key minutes. What's his name? Coltrane. What's his guy? Norris Cole. These guys all played key minutes. They don't have contributors on their team. They don't even have guys that Norris Cole's whatever. I'm not even going to include him in the conversation. But Shane Battier, Ray Allen, Birdman, Udonis Haslem. These are good pieces to have off your bench. Even the Spurs, everybody, the Raptors.
You're correct, but a lot of those guys were either unproven and then proved themselves by being on the Heat and being a huge contributor to the Heat. Mario Chalmers, who was he before the Heatles? Nobody. Ray Allen, proven, we know that, veteran. Shane Battier, veteran minimum. A lot of those key guys.
Mike Miller,
a lot of the vet mins.
Proven though.
Vet mins though.
Yes.
You can bring on guys on vet mins. There's a possibility of bringing on those
guys. Aren't there right now though. There's nobody right now that's on a vet min.
Mike Miller.
These guys don't even exist anymore.
You wouldn't even have brought up Mike Miller though if he was on those teams and they didn't win. You wouldn't have, because he's a veteran guy. He was good, very injury ridden. Happened to contribute very well. So you're bringing up guys that were either veteran minimum guys. The only proven guy was Ray Allen because he's won before and been an All-Star before. Mike Miller was never really proven. He was just a great veteran piece. They added it. Shane Battier, great defender, great veteran piece that they added on a minimum contract.
He's not proven? Shane Battier?
Wasn't really known as a winner or anything.
Shane Battier on the Rockets?
Wasn't a champion.
He was giving Kobe heat every year. He was right there at the conference final. Don't say he wasn't a winner.
Kobe was still averaging like 30, 35 in the series.
That's Kobe the GOAT. We're talking about Kobe. This Shane Battier is a proven basketball player. He's a Hall of Famer. There's no question.
Hall of Famer?
There's no question.
You think Shane Battier's a Hall of Famer?
There's no question.
Based
Shane
off of
Battier
what?
is a Hall of Famer.
Based off of what?
Off of his career. He played.
What did he do in his career?
He was
That's Hall of
pivotal
Fame
for the
worthy?
Rockets. Bro, search it up. This is Shane Battier, fam.
Hall of Famer, though?
Houston Rockets. Then he won a chip at the end of it. 100% he's a Hall of Famer.
No. You're giving him way too much credit, and then you're trying to overcredit him because I'm calling you out on it. There's no way he's not. Number one, he's not a Hall of Famer. Number two, he was known as a primary defender, 100%. But if Kobe still averages 30, 35, you're just the primary defender. He's a good defender, but he couldn't guard Kobe. What are you gonna do? That's like saying Stanley Johnson was the LeBron stopper. LeBron still averaged 30 in the series. It doesn't make a difference. All these guys you've brought up, they're great key veteran guys, and the Nets can find great key veteran guys just like the Heat did. The Warriors had great key veteran guys for so many years.
That's what I'm telling you. There aren't any veterans. Nobody's available.
You can find, bro, and you can trade for some. It's definitely possible.
What are you going to control F and just find somebody? Like, they're not there.
It's there. It's always there. Trust me, bro. It's always there. There's always guys. Bro, like the Warriors had key veteran guys on their team for so long too. All these teams, championship teams, had key role players. Please read.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Let me see his Hall of Fame
resume.
Ready?
2-time NBA champion, 2-time NBA All-Defensive Second Team, NBA All-Rookie First Team, NBA Teammate of the Year, NCAA champion, NCAA Final Four Most Outstanding Player of the Year, Consensus National College Player of the Year, Consensus First Team All-American, Consensus Second Team All-American, 3-time NABC Defensive Player of the Year, Chip Hilton Player of the Year.
You don't know half these
ACC
awards.
Co-Player of the Year.
You don't know half these awards, bro. Academic All-American?
2-time First Team All-ACC. Number 31 retired by Duke Blue Devils. First Team Parade All-American. High school. Second Team Parade All-American. High school. McDonald's All-American 97. That's not a Hall of Famer?
No. Half the achievements you listed.
No, we're going to Twitter for this one. We're going to Twitter for this one.
Half the achievements you listed were prior to his professional career, high school, university.
Well, what's a Hall of Famer?
Great.
Is it NBA Hall of Fame or Basketball Hall of Fame?
I assume it's professional career though.
It's Basketball Hall of Fame.
I assume it's professional career though.
This guy has more accolades than Carmelo Anthony. Take it in.
Search up Carmelo Anthony's.
You're wild for saying that. He has more accolades.
Oh my! I can't wait for people to see this because it's gonna be hilarious, and I can't wait for people
Carmelo
to see.
won a chip in college, and then that's it. He had a few scoring titles.
Okay, that's what you want to just say.
That is.
How about Olympic gold medalist 3 times, leader in USA basketball points?
Sure.
Just off the top, I'm not
even
switching this.
Sure. Olympic gold medal.
He could even make an Olympic team.
He's a defensive specialist. Man.
Don't give me excuses. He couldn't make a team. I'm not giving you excuses,
but you actually just said on live TV that Shane Battier is not a Hall of Famer. You said he's not proven. No, we're taking this to Twitter, bro. We're taking this to Twitter.
Melo's just for my defense. This is Melo's career highlights and awards. 10-time NBA All-Star, 2-time All-NBA Second Team, 4-time All-NBA Third Team, NBA Scoring Champion, NBA All-Rookie First Team, NCAA Champion, NCAA Final Four Most Outstanding Player, Consensus Second Team All-American in 2003, the 1 year he played in college. He didn't need 4. U.S. Basketball National Freshman of the Year, number 15 retired by Syracuse. You want to go to college? 3-time USA Basketball Male Athlete of the Year, first-time Parade All-American, McDonald's All-American, gold medals. Leads USA team basketball in scoring. Whose resume is better?
I mean, they're both good. But who has an NBA championship?
Yeah, that's fine. That doesn't equal Hall of Fame career.
Who has 2 NBA championships?
That doesn't equal Hall of Fame career.
He has 2 NBA championships and an NCAA championship, and he's an All-American? And he was NCAA Outstanding Player of the Year?
All you need for Hall of Fame career?
What are you talking about?
Are you serious?
He's retired by Duke.
This guy's never
been... His numbers retired by Duke.
He's never been the main player on any team he's been on.
So every player in the Hall of Fame is the main player on the team that they played on?
At some point, they've been a very, very key component of the team.
Come on.
He's off the bench for the Heat, the starting for the Heatles.
We're taking this to Twitter.
All right, we'll see.
You're digging yourself a hole, man.
No, you're digging yourself a hole.
Shane Battier is
Hall of
definitely
Famer?
a Hall of Famer.
First ballot?
No.
Changes things, but he's not. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
Changes things? I never even said first ballot.
He's not a Hall of Famer, though. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't think
This is a Hall of Fame
his
career.
achievements are great achievements. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's a scrub, but I'm comparing him to Hall of Fame kind of guys.
He is a Hall of Famer.
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
His college resume alone is Hall of Fame. His college resume alone is Hall of Fame.
Oh my God.
He has a championship.
That's
He
great.
has his number retired. He's second team, 2-time first team All ACC.
Yeah, because he played
ACC
4 years.
Co-Player of the Year. It doesn't matter, man.
Yeah,
So did
man.
JJ Redick. Nobody talks about that.
Do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
JJ Redick.
Yeah.
Based off his Duke career alone, he's a Hall of Famer. You're
I'll give
not,
him-
bro.
I'll give
You're,
him that. I'll give
you're
him that.
only looking at
give him that.
NBA. That's the issue. Duke.
Yeah,
he's a
but
Duke
I'm not.
GOAT.
He's a Duke GOAT, but it doesn't automatically mean you're a Hall of Famer because you're a Duke GOAT.
Your college, his college accolades right now are Hall of Fame. I'm telling you. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. So where are we in terms of the trade?
We've argued about the Nets being the winners the whole time. Honestly, I guess honorable mentions. I think the Cavs got infinitely better with Jared Allen. Jared Allen finally gets to be a key component of a team, which he deserves to be. Key starting center for a team. Taurean Prince is a huge addition for them. And then the Rockets. The Rockets got way better just by losing James Harden. Just that negative energy, that bad vibe. And then if they can keep Oladipo, that would be great for them. I think that four player combo of John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, Christian Wood, who's
debuting tonight.
He's been
Depot.
crazy, yeah. And
last
Oladipo, that could be a dangerous team in the future. But there's all those reports about Oladipo wanting to go to Miami, so it'll be tough to keep him. But all four teams got better. If all guys are healthy and all the guys are in, all four teams got better. I think Nets are the only team that became a championship contender, even though they were before.
So
as well.
okay, maybe this is a better way to put it. The Nets are probably going to be the most talented team to struggle their way to the finals.
Sure.
For someone with that core three, they're not like
Sure.
You should not struggle as hard as they're going to struggle this year between consistency on and off the court and guys on the court and depth and defense and everything that they're gonna have to do a lot to win games. Like if you're gonna have to score, what was the record I sent you? They were 0-5 when they didn't score 120 points. So on a nightly basis,
bad, yeah.
you need to score a lot of points. So that means every single night, Kyrie is gonna give you 30, or if he's not on the court, then KD is gonna give you 40 plus, and James Harden has to give you 30 plus and like 15 assists for you to win games. Tough thing to rely on every game. So they're going to struggle, but it's going to be like nobody can stop KD. And that's what it comes down to is
Nobody can stop Harden either. And Harden's a playmaker.
they can stop him in the playoffs. And it's been proven. That's a scary thing too.
With KD and Kyrie on your team.
That's a scary
it's
sight.
different.
Having all three of them on the court at the
It's
same
different
time is scary.
when it happens, so.
Because then that's single coverage for everybody, and we're back to the...
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how KD always finds himself in these single coverage situations? Always just,
Yeah,
finds
this one's
himself
not-
on the most talented teams in NBA history.
This one's not his fault, though.
He
This
orchestrated
one-
it for sure, though.
I'm sure he had a pull on it. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, in the beginning of the season or when he signed with the Brooklyn Nets last year, he probably wasn't like, oh, we're going to get James Harden a year from now. So
Last touches on this conversation before we move on, because producer Kiro was gracious enough to hit us with some stats about our conversation. So Shane Battier was actually inducted in the College Basketball Hall of Fame last year. So
how about Basketball Hall of Fame for everything?
he's gonna get that
He's
one
gonna
as
get
well,
that?
because plus the 2 rings. I mean, like
Two rings doesn't put you there, though.
It does, bro. It does absolutely.
A
He's
great college career plus 2 rings as a role player puts you at the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I think so, man. NBA All Rookie first team too as a
I don't
rookie.
know, man.
He started out his career very nicely.
I don't know, man. Come
2-time
on, bro.
all defense second team 08-09. So he was all rookie first team in 02, all defense second team 08-09. Then won 2 chips in 12 and 13 as a starter. That's longevity. That's consistency. That's accolades at 3 different parts of his career.
Yeah.
With 3 different teams. Rookie first team with Memphis, all defense with Houston, champion
But
with
you
Miami.
got to think about there's 3 all NBA teams, offensive and defensive, or sorry, all NBA and then all NBA defense. So that's 15, 30 players every year get these votes. Not all of these 30 guys are Hall of Fame guys and get into the Hall of Fame.
Second team means he's top 10 defender in the league.
Yeah, but not all these guys make like you're putting out these accolades, which are great accolades and they're difficult to get. But you're saying these are the things that are going to propel him to a Hall of Fame
all
career.
together.
No, I don't think so because there's a bunch of those guys who get those awards every year. Just because you had 2 years in that group and not that great of a rest of an NBA career, I don't think that puts you up there. So that's why I don't think so. But listen, we'll take it to Twitter. We'll let Twitter decide who who is correct and who's incorrect, and maybe next week we'll follow up on it and we'll give the result.
Yep, we definitely will, bruh.
Moving on, we had a bunch of this week was kind of the week of streaks. We had a bunch of teams in the NBA either prolong streaks or start streaks, and so let's just start off with the team that won 5 straight. I don't think anybody would guess this if we were to ask them who won 5 straight this week. Nobody would guess this team. But the Utah Jazz, 5 straight wins against Denver, against Atlanta, against Cleveland, Detroit, and Milwaukee. So a couple, pretty solid quality teams in there, especially the win last night over Denver. That's always a huge battle for them. All convincing wins, except for Denver. They won by 4 last night against Denver. Everything else was, I believe, 10+. Joe Ingles was also out for 4 of those 5 games, which...
Interesting.
An integral part of that team. He's been out, so they've been able to win without him. The main story for this week, honestly, Jordan Clarkson just remains consistent for them, and he's been amazing off the bench. It looks like he kind of found a home in Utah a little bit. He's been a key player in their rotation, a key player coming off their bench, and a key contributor to their offense. They're sitting at 3rd in the West. They're actually one of 3 teams in the league that rank top 10 in both offensive and defensive efficiency. Those other 2 teams are the Lakers and the Bucks.
Interesting.
So that's some pretty good company to be a part of. So given all of that, how do you feel about the Utah Jazz? Do you think this is just a hot streak, or do you expect it to continue?
I thought last year the Utah Jazz were Mike Conley almost made game winner out of the conference finals, to be honest. Not the conference final, out of the second round, because I don't think they would have beat the Clippers. But they're a second-round team. I don't know if they've surpassed second round, in my opinion, because the West right now, like, top-heavy. Clippers, Lakers, I don't think anyone's better than those 2 guys in the West.
Yeah.
And I feel like if come playoff time, I feel like a team like Phoenix could give them a problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know that I trust the Utah Jazz. For me, Rudy Gobert is just not that guy, second option, and Donovan Mitchell's not good enough to be how big they need him to be. Like they need, like if Donovan Mitchell was KD-esque, then we are having a whole different discussion.
Yeah.
But he's not reliable. A lot of times he shoots himself out of games.
Fair.
He's inefficient at times. He's playing well right now, but he's very streaky. So I'm not really sold. And then the Joe Ingles thing has been like the elephant in the room for the last like 2 years, because they secretly kind of like do well when he's not there, but then he's also like really good.
Yeah.
He's like a 50+% shooter. So it's like, where do you go? What do you do with Joe Ingles? Like, he's not really good off the bench. He's better as a starter, but like, I don't know. He's been out and they're figuring it out. Jordan Clarkson's playing well, but again, that's another guy. Like, do you want to rely on Jordan Clarkson come playoff time?
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know. The guys that are playing well for them right now are regular season guys. So I don't know. This has been a very weird season, to say the least. Like, now, unless these guys show up in the playoffs, I don't know.
They're going to begin a 6-game homestand this week. 4 of their next 4 games, are against teams that rank in the bottom 10 offensively. Do you know who those teams are?
The Raptors are one of them.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. But the teams that they're facing...
Poor defense? Poor offense?
Poor offense. If you could guess, you'd actually be surprised by who the teams are.
Okay.
Give you a little bit of a
New
hint.
York?
No, but they are. I think they are facing New York, but it's not New York. New Orleans, they're facing them twice.
Yeah, that one doesn't make sense.
The Warriors, they're facing them once. So although these teams are technically bottom 10 offensively, I think the start of the season, especially for the Warriors, that is really what's plummeting them down. Those are 3 games that they can very well lose. So I think this homestand this week is going to be very, very important for them. Next, the Clippers. Clippers seem to be bike, bro. 4 straight wins against Chicago, New Orleans, Sacramento, and Indiana. So, not exactly great quality teams, but
Sac and Indiana are good teams.
Teams that they should beat, though, in my opinion. So, some highlights for the Clippers: they've been shooting better than 50% from 3-point range during this streak. Paul George is having a redemption season. He seems to be back. He's shooting 51% from 3, including 48% from pull-up threes. So it's not just open jump shots. These are pull-up threes that he's
insane.
making. So he's back to being a bucket. The Clippers right now are 1 game behind the Lakers in the Western Conference and sitting at the number 2 spot. If they tie, they have that tiebreaker since they beat the Lakers. So they can very well take over that first-place spot. I think they're back. I think they're kind of firing on all cylinders. They're playing good team basketball. I even saw him play. Luke Kennard was even playing fluid a lot better.
He had 5 threes, 20 points.
Yeah, so I think they've been playing a lot more as a team. It took them a bit of time to figure it out. The next games this week, they've got Sacramento and OKC twice. So I'm expecting them to extend the streak to 7 games. after this week.
Wow. That's a big one. That's a tough one, but they're playing very good basketball, like you said, man. Like, Paul George is on a tear. He's coming back. But, I mean, at the end of the day, nobody really cares about Paul George's regular season. We're not here for regular season PG. We want playoff P, and that's all it comes down to. So, the Clippers and the Lakers, it's like a joyride till the playoffs. And I think both of them are, like, sort of mentally clocked out of that regular season, even though Paul George is on a tear. I just feel like they're bored, and they need to get to the playoffs ASAP. So, they'll be, Yeah, I don't know. I hate talking about the Clippers because I hate giving them flowers. And,
you don't want to.
And Serge Ibaka's playing pretty well this year too.
Yeah.
Like, he's helping anchor that defense, and we need defense. And I'm like, every night, like, we're giving up all these second chance points, and I look at the box score, and Serge's got like 12 rebounds. You're like,
you miss Serge. You miss Serge. The next team, the Bucks, 4 straight wins: Cleveland, Orlando, Detroit, and Dallas. For me, the biggest thing for the Bucks is just, I mentioned it earlier, who is going to decide games? Who is going to close games for them? They've moved away from Giannis. Giannis hasn't been able to hit late game jump shots, hasn't been able to take those late game free throws and make them, as we saw in the beginning of the season. So it's really moved towards Chris Middleton. Let's get Chris Middleton that last shot. Let's make him the game closer. Offensive rating came in at 117.8 this week. That's first in the league. So very, very interesting that they still got a good offense, and they're 7th in defense. So another one of those regular season teams. One of those regular season teams that got to prove it in the playoffs. Their biggest problem in the playoffs,
Eric Bledsoe was trash. They didn't have anybody anchoring their offense, and they had to give Giannis the ball to create plays.
Yeah.
Now that they have Drew Holiday and they have DJ Augustine off the bench, those are 2 much better ball handlers, in my opinion. Guys that Giannis doesn't need to have the ball in his hands and create that play.
Yeah.
And Chris Middleton's playing a fantastic season. And they have depth, and Brook Lopez is a very underrated, very good defender. I like Drew Holiday, so I don't know. I'm happy, and last time he was in the playoffs, he was cooking. So we'll see about we'll see how it works. But their point guard game was the problem, and they upgraded, and they have longevity and chemistry and a coach. So I like them.
They play Brooklyn tonight, which is set to be a very, very interesting game.
Yeah, we're recording early just to watch it.
Yeah, so that's going to be a big game for Brooklyn and big game for the Bucks to see where they're both at in the season. And lastly, the last win streak of this week comes at no surprise. There's nothing really bad to say about this team. The Lakers, 5 straight wins. Chicago, Houston.
It's like boring how good they are now.
It's incredible. Chicago, Houston, OKC, New Orleans. LeBron played more than 31 minutes one time in those 5 games. AD played more than 30 minutes once in 4 games. How do you beat a team that plays perfect basketball? It's incredible how they play.
That's why I'm saying the Nets are not going to have it crafted like this. Look at the depth, man. Look at this.
We're talking about a chip? I still think the Lakers are the chip favorite.
Man, I think the Lakers would sweep Brooklyn as constructed. 4-1. Because KD is good. It'll be tough, man.
4-1? Really?
I
want to give them a 4-2. I can see 4-1.
Who's going to stop AD? DeAndre Jordan?
Team defense. DJ and KD together. It'll be tough.
And then who's going to guard? There's so many options.
The Lakers are a well-constructed team, and when you're talking about championship teams, that's exactly who you look to. Because the Lakers, they've got it at every single position, at every single point in the game. They have their stars playing less than 30 minutes a game, so they're ready for the playoffs. They're a shoo-in for the championship. They're the only team you can look at in the league right now and be like, they're proven. All their players are proven. All the players have done something great. All these guys are playing together. They're gelling together. They're meshing together. This team is a team that can win the championship.
Absolutely. I hate to do this, by the way, and I want to ask this question and bring it back, but I hate to do this because he's Canadian and we are fans of this guy, and we've talked openly about how we support and want him on the show as well. I don't know if we'll get that after this, but is Jamal Murray good enough?
Good enough for what? What are you trying to achieve right here?
Good enough for the role that he needs to be, because Bubble Jamal gave people this idea that Jamal was, he broke out of that shell.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing with Jamal was he's really good, but on off nights he's super off. It's really bad. So that's one thing that I've noticed this year to start the year, because I have him in fantasy, is his field goal percentage has not been the greatest.
Yeah.
His points are up and down. Some games he's there, some games he's not. Yesterday against the Utah Jazz, he had 24 in the first half, finished with 30.
Yeah.
And why I ask about this is because Jokic is having a career season. And they are sitting at 11th in the West right now.
Yeah.
So what, like, if I'm Jokic, I'm thinking, like, Luka Doncic is my boy.
Yeah.
Like, my boy.
Yeah.
He's tearing up the league. He doesn't have Porzingis. Or Porzingis just came back, but we know Porzingis is not the guy.
Yeah.
I need a point guard because this guy here, I don't know. He takes a lot of shots. I don't know. Let's just one thing at a time. Is Jamal Murray good enough to be bubble Jamal consistently? And what does he need to do to get better?
I think it's his decision making and his shot, picking his spots. I think, we all are putting a lot of pressure on Jamal Murray to perform. Jamal Murray had an unbelievable bubble, but I think even the NBA community and people who are around the NBA know that the bubble basketball wasn't exactly how I want to just use real life basketball as played. TJ Warren was snapping. Like there was guys who were snapping that you don't really necessarily see snap. Do I think Jamal Murray can play like that at a consistent level? Yeah, but I think he's just got to get a lot smarter. A lot of his shots, it's not forced takes, but takes maybe where he should calm down a little bit more, pick his spots more, and that's just something that's going to come with age and experience and watching film. Dude, he's only 23 years old. Like we're putting an immense amount of pressure on him to be the guy, and he's only been in the league. He's been in the league for 5 years, but he's only 23. He hasn't even signed his prime contract yet, right? So he's still got so much room to grow. So I just think mentally for him, he's got all the handle, the shot, the finishing package. He's got he can play decent enough defense. I think just him getting smarter is going to be the biggest thing, and being able to play make a lot more for a lot of his teammates. Do I think Jokic and Doncic will be a better duo? 100%. That is going to be would be one of the scariest duos in the league, only because Doncic has that ability.
Positionless.
They're both positionless. Yeah. And Doncic has that ability to play make and make other people better. Jamal Murray doesn't really have that. Jamal Murray's a pure scorer kind of guy. And when you put two guys who can make their team better, Jokic is averaging a triple-double as a big man. And Doncic, who is also a walking triple-double, you put those guys on the same team, that's going to create scary, scary matchups. So is Jamal Murray good enough to be the main guy right now? No. He's not there yet. I think shot selection is going to be a game changer. He's only sitting at 20.3 points on the season. He wants to be that guy. You got to up it at 25, 24, 25, 26, 27.
I was going to say 27. At the rate that guards are scoring right now,
yeah.
The rate that guards are putting up points, he should not be getting 20.
I think he's getting
the ball every possession.
He's getting a lot of premature pressure, which sucks for him because he did play so well in the bubble.
Yeah.
But he's still got a long way to go. His ceiling is still so high. But to your point, we were just talking about it, I think before, we're like, man, imagine if Jokic and Doncic played together. That would be a matchup. And I wouldn't be surprised to see it come in the next 2, 3, 4 years.
When they're free agents.
When they're free agents. So that'd be interesting to look out for.
I hope they're both healthy at the time too. But I think that's that for MLK Day today. We talked a lot about that trade. I think we got everything we wanted to get out.
Any thoughts on the Raptors this week?
Yeah,
Raptor update before we wrap up.
They won 2 games in a row, but both were against Charlotte, and both were very close down to the wire games. Both games were led by double digits and gave it up. Both games gave up a lot of second chance points. Came down to the wire, and you just lose to a young, inexperienced team. It's not really a win.
Yeah.
So I'm not really comfortable.
You're a lot more negative than I thought you were going to be this week on the Raptors.
I'm not really that comfortable. Like, I'm happy that they won the 2 games, but what are we going to be happy about? The games that they lost were more. They proved to me more than the games that they won.
Fair,
so
yeah.
it'll have to take a couple more games, I think. So Dallas tonight, without a fully healthy KP, should be a winnable game in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then they got, I think, a few other teams that are winnable for the rest of the week. I don't really know their schedule coming up, but they got Miami a couple times, I think, coming up.
Yeah. Miami, Indiana.
So that all like the Miami one really depends if Butler's gonna play, if Hero's gonna play, because they didn't play a couple games ago.
Yeah.
And then Indiana's a tough game. So
tough game.
That's what I mean. Like you need to squeeze out a win at least tonight to anticipate like 2 or 3 losses in the next.
But
3.
there is some silver lining. I think what's been good and what's been helping the Raptors win is they've been 40% plus on threes in those wins. And for a team that's becoming a team that is a 3-point shooting team, I don't know why. I think the Raptors are set right now. It's saying
no inside presence.
49.3% of our shots are from 3. So that's half the Raptors shots coming from 3. Like you said, no inside presence, but we also don't have 3-point shooters. I want to say like exactly to be shooting half of our shots
Well,
from
we do.
three.
They're just on the bench.
Yeah, that could be a key factor there. But you know, the Raptors are on track to be the first team since the Rockets to shoot 50% of their shots from three on a season. So that's kind of a bit concerning. God bless Chris Boucher, who's been putting up numbers.
Yo, he got nominated for Player of the Week, but KD got it.
He got, but that nomination is something huge
Profound,
for him,
man. He's a bench player,
bro. He's making a tough case for MIP and Sixth Man of the Year.
Yeah.
Right. So he's been doing so well. He's third in the league in block shots at 2.5 blocks per game. It seems like a lot more, but he's been playing so well. The Raptors have outscored their opponents. It's 6.9 points per 100 possessions when CB's on the floor. Mm-hmm. So CB
is he making a more profound argument than Julius Randle for MIP? Because Julius Randle's balling out right now.
He's balling out, but
in a starter role and like
Julius Randle
anchoring that Knicks team. They're like at 500.
Julius had these games though last year and the year before. He had games like this. He's just more consistent this year. CB was not even in the rotation last year.
Yeah, but I like right now these are all-star numbers. So if Julius Randle makes an all-star team this year,
huge,
and they make they make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But Sixth Man should be a shoo-in if he continues doing this and continues to come off the bench, right? Because right now they're going with Baines for like 5 minutes and then
CB the rest of the way.
It continues to happen. One thing that is really continuing to grind my gears is the lack of consistency in the rotation.
Yeah,
one game you get really good minutes from Utah, the next you throw him down the bench.
Yeah.
One game you get really good minutes from Terrence, the next you don't even play him. It's just so it makes no sense to me. Like I don't know. I'm not a coach. I don't want to stress myself out, but that's something that really just gets on my nerves. It's like, man, like I feel for these guys.
Yeah.
You know, like you get thrown on the bench, you come in, you give fantastic minutes. You're like, yo, I earned it. It's like, thanks. Now go back to the bench.
Yeah, it's been shocking to see Nurse.
How do you get the max out of guys like that?
It's been shocking to see him bench guys that the previous game they've been giving you good minutes. Like we said, like Watanabe gave the Raptors such good minutes in that first game against Charlotte and barely got any run in the second game against Charlotte. It makes no sense.
Same
I understand.
team, bro.
I understand that Nurse is trying to play with lineups. I know he's trying a lot of Pascal at the 5, which actually has been working in their favor a lot. But as the season starts to progress, I'm really looking for Nurse to this is the 8-9 man rotation we're gonna have.
Yeah,
these are gonna be your roles because a lot of guys are coming in and being discouraged. Like these aren't Kyle Lowry. It's not Fred. It's not Norm. Whether they've been around, they can kind of deal with up and down. They can deal with call-outs from the coach. These are brand new guys trying to fit into the system. So you want to see them get consistent minutes, and you want to see their role be outlined.
Another silver lining is Norm starting to pick it up a little bit. He had a good couple games against Charlotte. But that's the thing with Norm is that's just what he does. 1 game, 2 games, he'll get you 20, and then it's like 8 points, inefficient.
Yeah.
And then it's like 20, 25, and then 6 points, 7 points. It's like, come on, man. Like you're
better.
A vet now.
You're better than
veteran,
this, bro. You're better.
Like we need we need Norman Powell to be what Terrence Ross is for the Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
To be that guy off the bench that just gets you a lot of points. We don't care about your rebounding or your assists. Just put it through the hoop, and that's it. Terrence Ross would be a very nice addition on the Raptors right now.
At this point in his career, yeah,
if
absolutely.
we can bring back some former Raptors, it would be nasty, like JV.
Oh,
JV.
Wow, JV.
Memphis.
Bro.
Shout out to Memphis. We didn't even talk about that. They won 4 straight games.
Yeah.
But they're sitting at the bottom, but they won 4 straight games, and they just got Ja Morant back.
Yeah.
And we put out a graphic for JV. He's balling.
He's
24
balling,
and 16, 2 blocks.
Mm.
That game, man. He's balling. But that should be it for the episode, ladies and gentlemen. Now remember, if you are looking for coolers, Yeti. And if you're looking for speakers, SkullCandy. Don't forget, click the link in our bio. You know where to find us. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, probably Google Podcasts, Instagram, Twitter, whatever the case may be. Thank you for listening, and we'll come at you guys next episode.